Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Grit Championship for race 8 out of 9 from Lake Maggiore West. Let's take a quick look at the current championship standings. Steve F1 leading the way on 121 points. He's only a few ahead of him now in second. Conrad, Mitch and SGP fighting for third place, 94, 92 and 85 points respectively. Dave Hart pretty comfortable in 6th at the moment on 67 points. Got a 14 point gap ahead of Artpal in 7th. However, he's got a whole gaggle of cars as Artpal chasing him down. So Artpal on 53, we've got Formula Gary on 49, Twilight only 4 behind him on 45, 6 back is Hay on 39, and then he's got Fluffy right behind him on 38, Jason's 1 behind him on 37, and then 2 back is Jimmy on 35. There's a 10 point gap then to Rich Blues in 14th place and a 4 point gap to SRI in 15th, with Tyler on 13th and Bunsel on 12. Unfortunately, a couple of drivers unable to make the race today, and that does happen sometimes, and Let's take a look at the qualifying order. Steve F1, he's got a bit of a knack for it, taking pole position at 1:10.922, beating Demon Art's pole position by 0.6 of a second. Conrad will start on row 2 alongside SGP, hardly anything between those two. But having said that, Dave Harp and Arpal on row 3, 0.004 is the gap between them. Jason will start on row 4 alongside Twilight, and again only a couple of tenths between those two. Fluffy qualified 9th on his return, he'll start alongside SRI. Then we've got Jimmy in 11th, Gary in 12th, and Rich chose not to set a lap time in qualifying. Well, time for the action, and time to find out what's going to happen here in round 8 at the Lake Maggiore West Circuit. Right, time to hand over to our sweet potatoes. And joining me on commentary for round 8, it's Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond.
Of course I do. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Looking forward to this one. The championship rivalry is on. Yeah, the championship battle is on. But also, there's a 3-way fight for third.
Third, alright. It's like, what are you saying?
The lights were about to go out. Potato.
And they're off. Steve F1 gets a good start. It's alright, you just sit back and laugh.
I'm sure you said it in the way that Keith Lemon does. As Steve F1 leads away into turn 2. Conrad trying to get around the outside of Demon R there. Not quite able to do it. Lovely bit of racing though. Turns 1 and 2 now being known as the Come Here chicane. Because it looks a bit like one of those crooked fingers when someone's looking at you going, come here. Sure you know all about that, Ray, as Conrad's having a look at the inside of Demon R.
I don't know all about it, but the kids do. They're going to try and go the long way round, do a switchback maybe?
Woo!
No! He lit up the rear there.
He did light up the rear, and he slapped SGP with it as well. We'll see how SGP feels about having an arse stuck in his face. From what I've heard, he quite enjoys it. Oh, this is going to be the worst commentary ever. Oh dear. I've not been on the beers, I've just had a milkshake.
Alright. Does it bring up the balls to your yard?
No, it brings all
Was that an Angel Delight one?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. There's a battle going on screen. Look, Rich has just spun. Most people won't get that. The drivers will. No, it was chocolate milkshake, not Angel Delight. You bastard. Arpal's off. Yeah, he's survived it though. Okay, come on. Oh, Jason's spinning around. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, and he takes. Definitely was with Jimmy at the end there, but I don't think Jason could really do it about it. I don't know if Jason was helped around or not, but to be honest, Ray, we both know turn 2 here, the exit of that, it's so easy to light the rear tyres up all on your own and spin it around quite easily as the driver's making the way through Granny Pit Hill and up into the corners that don't have a name yet. So yeah, fantastic. Flat out left and a flat out right as SGP's all over the back of Conrad once again. David Harp with his nice purple livery. I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to behave. We've got SRI and Arpal side by side into the second part of bottle cap curves. I called it that because it kind of looks like a bottle cap opener. But I didn't want to call it the bottle opener. Actually, that actually sounds better, the bottle opener.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's better than bottle cap curves. Yeah, bottle opener, right, we'll have to change that one. Right, okay, SRI, what's position is he in? 7th at the moment, making his way through the Come Here chicane as he's trying to hunt down Fluffy. Got to say, nice to see Fluffy back with us. Still recovering from his motocross injury, where he busted all his guts. So the peace and quiet has ended, unfortunately. Arpal's still on the back of SRI at the moment. Steve F1 still leading the race, and regarding the championship, there's a 9-point gap between Steve F1 and Demon R. So if Demon R wants to do anything in the championship, he's going to have to get a shift on past Steve F1 and win the race if he wants to close that gap in. And he's actually closed in on Steve F1, which is good to see. He's having a look on the inside into the bottle opener. He can Can he open it up? No, he can't. Steve F1 says, not today. No drinking and driving. Let me just have a drink.
This is going to be some battle up the front here and in the pack. Steve F1's just managed to gain just a wee bit, but Demon R's going to have a slipstream as we see Artpal and SRI still having a fantastic battle down into turn 1. Here we go.
I thought Gary was going to get in on that as well. SRI holds on to the position as Demon R's now got a decent run on Steve F1 through another flat out section of the racetrack here. So they've gone through Come Here already, and now they're headed towards the Granny Pit Hill. Are they going to be pulling up their socks? Or Demon R's having a look up the inside. Steve F1 gives in the room. Oh, a little bit of a wobble at the door, a little bit of a slapper. Oh, that's
Is Demon R going away from him? No, Demon R keeps going.
Wow. Oh, controversial, maybe. Well, Conrad now, he's up into second place, so that move, not only has it cost Steve F1 one position, it's cost him 2, and he's coming under pressure actually from SGP as well. Let's not forget that Conrad, SGP and Mitch are in a battle for that 3rd place in the championship. Unfortunately, Mitch unable to race this race and the last one due to personal commitments, as Artpal and SRI having another. Oh! Was Twilight pitted?
Yep.
Oh, Twilight pitted? I think he did.
I don't see, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I saw a car in the background, yeah.
And off camera, we've just seen that Artpal got ahead of SRI on this lap.
You're right. Maybe that was caught on the pack cam. Depends on how.
We're going through wide down to Granny Pit Hill.
Got it! Oh, he's backed out of it. I like that. Gary's backed out of it. He may get a better run on the exit. SRI and Arpal still going at it. They're banging their heads through grannies. Oh my god.
SRI's having to take the title line, so he could lose 2 places here. Or 1, sorry.
That he could, going through bottle opener. This is a very tricky set of corners now, and heading now down into Twilights, as we've decided to call it, as side by side Gary and SRI. And that's one of the good things about that final corner. You can go side by side around there. Gary, though, got a decent run. Looks like he might have a special message on his bumper as well. Not bumper, rear wing. What have we got going on? So Demon R still leading the way from Conrad and Steve F1. We're going to talk a little bit on strategy, if you could be. 33 laps, from what I'm gathering. It's a dead easy 2-stop race.
For some.
For SGP, it could be 50. Oh, they're going 3 wide into grannies again. It's the same 3 drivers, and nice Gary backing out of it. He's always gone for a cheeky switchback. Always gone for a cheeky punt.
He's slowing down. He was waiting for the SRI there.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to take it out, raise granny. There's so many things going through my mind at the moment. I really.
SRI's went to see his granny.
Right, what we got? So yeah, Gary is waiting for SRI. That's good to see. Demon R leading the way there from Conrad. Steve F1 is there. Strategy, yeah. We should be looking at easy 2-stop. A 1-stop could be possible, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of Steve F1, maybe SGP try and stretch the fuel out. We've seen them do it before. For Steve F1, looking at the gap that Demon R's pulled out on him, maybe that's what he's doing, trying to save a bit of fuel. But interestingly, Ray, a couple of races ago, where it was kind of tied between a 1-stop and a 2-stop, the pack was too far back to benefit, if you know what I mean. Instead of like coming out behind the pack and catching back up, the lead drivers were coming out in the pack and then losing loads of time.
Oh yeah. And so in this one it's going to be more of a benefit with the pack being so close.
Yeah, so I think doing the 2-stop may be the quicker way about it. As Conrad doing well to keep up with Demonar at the moment. To be honest, this is a perfect situation for Demonar. He's 9 points behind Steve F1, or we've got a little bit wobbly on the curb. And if the position stayed as they are now, I think it'd be a 5-point swing in Demonar's favour, so that'd be good. SGP could do a catch up to Conrad if he wants to gain on him. Art Power's ahead of Fluffy at the moment, and Art Power and Fluffy haven't really had a chance to race against each other in this championship, with Fluffy being away for a while. So I know Art Power and Fluffy haven't really had a lot of chance to race against each other in general, so it'll be interesting to see how nice they're going to be to each other.
Yep, as Art Power's coming under attack from Fluffy, Fluffy hasn't lost any speed from his moped incident, so he's doing very good here. He's coming down into Granny Pit Hill. Is he going to get the move done?
Oh, he did!
Yeah, wiggle there.
Arpal's coming back at him now, though, and comes back through. Oh, what a move! I like it. This is good racing. So they've not raced against each other, as I mentioned. Oh, Fluffy's having to look up the inside. The thing is, this is what happens if drivers give each other room. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have a great battle. Arpal has a cheeky look, but can't quite do it. Gary in the background. He's just decided to wipe out Jimmy. I don't know if he did. I didn't.
No, Jimmy's still there.
Jason is also. What? Oh.
But with Fluffy and Arpal battling, it's brought these closer to them. Arpal's in the pits.
Oh, Gary making a move. Gary making it. Oh, he doing like the cameraman into the barrier. Well, not of his own accord.
He has an injuries, man.
He's now got Twilight on the back of him. Talking about injuries, you know, like sometimes obviously there's physical injuries, there's mental injuries, and sometimes people see a therapist, right? I see a therapist, and she was really happy with me the other day. She actually nearly burst out like with joy as Jason making a move on Jimmy here into Granny Pit Hill. Jimmy goes a little bit deep, but I think Jason will get the move done. Yes, he does. And she's like, so jump.
It's still going.
He's like, so she goes, yeah, that's a great goal, that is, David. Well, all it is making sure I have a shower by noon every day this week.
Alright. Have you had a shower by noon?
I've had one. Yeah. It depends. If I'm cracking one off, I might have to. Someone's on the grass. So what we've got, Demon R still leading the way. And you know what, Ray? We're getting very close. Oh, Twilight! Oh, he's binned it in Twilight's. Oh, I think that's just become Twilight's end zone. Is he going to get it in on the second attempt? Yes, he does, nice and cautiously. Either that or he's still picking his teeth up out of the steering wheel. I feel for you, Twilight. It's a tricky pit entry. It looked like he chose to go for the pits a little late. I was going to say as well, we're kind of getting to that point of it's pit stop window for the 2 stoppers. Gary trying to make the move on Jason, but Jason's got the slipstream from Fluffy. So yeah, we could see drivers pitting lap 10, end of lap 11. So I mean, the easiest way is to do 11 lap stints, but it depends on whether anyone wants to try and get undercuts or overcuts, or just to go wombling.
As you see, Demon R coming around Twilight's end zone.
Oh, he got through Twilight's end zone as well. Yeah, he is into the pit. Interestingly, he had 20% of fuel left, so he could have easily have gone on for another 2 laps. Conrad hasn't stopped, so it'll be interesting to see how much further he's going to go. Steve F1 hasn't stopped, SGP hasn't stopped. Okay, so none in the top 7 have stopped. That means that Demon R could come out in empty space, and quite a few of the cars ahead of him will pit soon.
Yeah. And so if he's got the empty space and the boost, he could probably do an undercut here.
Yeah.
And gain more advantage.
Well, it is an undercut, but it's an undercut from being ahead anyway, so it's about opening the gap. Yeah. The only thing is, that's a 10 lap stint, so that means there's going to need to be a 12 lap stint somewhere. or a 13 if he does 10, 10, 13, or 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's going to be a longer stint somewhere. SGP still on the back of Steve F1, so these two showing fairly decent pace, but it is in the mid-12s. So, oh, Steve F1's into the pits, and he's got a hell of a lot of fuel.
Yeah, what did Demonar have?
20%. Yeah.
He's got a 14% on there. For Maggiore in the pits as well with only 9%.
Yeah, so I don't think Gary would have been getting the extra lap. I mean, that's very interesting with Steve F1 there, as Rich Blues is gone into Twilight's end zone.
That was close, Rich Blues.
Twilight felt it anyway. Oh god, SRI and Artpal, they've been battling for most of this race, and Steve F1 has come out behind them, so the gap now between Demon R and Steve F1 is quite large. I don't know exactly how big it was before the pits, but visually it's looking a lot bigger now. That's what she said. Well, she never did actually, unless she was talking about the belly. I think I can remake the Fanta advert, you know, Belly's gonna get you. I think I've got the gut for that now. There's Artpal trying to make a move on SRI, and Steve F1 following them up their hill. But yeah, I'm thinking, you know, with Steve F1, looking at his pace, he was in the mid-12s. I think he was going for a one-stop. And that'd be why he had so much fuel. But perhaps realising where Demon R has come out the pits, maybe Steve F1 has decided, no, I need to change to a two-stop, because the pack is not going to help a one-stopper here.
Yeah. It could be. I don't know about pit stop. SRI get ahead of Artpal off camera again.
Ah, that he did. Maybe it was caught on pack cam once again. Either that or maybe we need to have a word with the cameraman. Let's see what we got. So is that Twilight? No, it's Demon R heading SRI and Artpal, isn't it? So the thing is for Steve F1 now, because he's in 8th place, the amount of boost he's going to get is going to allow him to close up massively to Demon R in this phase of the race. So it's not really cost Steve F1 anything to pit at this point. It's actually benefited him because he's trying to make the move on Artpal. So the gap between Demon R and Steve F1 is probably what, a second and a half, as Demon R makes the move around Jimmy, that through the chicanes with no names. There's Conrad now into the pits, so he's done a 13 lap stint now. I wonder if he's just going to do a 10 and a 10 maybe.
Being and with Steve F1 and Demon R, Demon R's got 3 cars that in between them, so it could cost Steve F1 time in the long run.
It definitely.
If Demon R can pull away, but that's what Demon R's got to do.
Yeah, or Steve F1 going for the move up the inside of Jimmy. Jimmy sideways, he's managed to get it slowed down. Yeah, I think you're right, Ray. I think Steve has realised that, yes, he's got the boost, but with the traffic, and Demon R now not having the traffic, yeah, he's going to start losing ground on him. So if he wants to benefit, he's got to get a shift off Conrad, who's come out in 9th place. So behind this sort of train, he's going to benefit quite a bit now with the boost as well. So he could, or Twilight making the move on Jimmy. Lovely move down into Granny's, and Conrad gets
Steve F1 going for a move on that, Pally. Gets it done.
Taking a big chunk of the apple in the Granny's. Hey, it's a Granny Smith's.
Yeah, it's a granny apple.
It's a granny apple. Oh, dude.
I'm sure Granny Apple's a way to watch the football tonight.
She is actually, yeah. SGP into the pitch, so he, well, I was going to say he must have been looking at.
Gonna take some apples there.
Granny ain't taking apples, she's taking pears. It's like wine. No, it's grapes, isn't it? Wine. Pears.
Grapes.
Grapes. Yeah, she likes the grapes. Fluffy coming in hot. Conrad coming in hot. Gets the move done quite nicely though. Fluffy's looking a little bit twitchy through. Come here. I didn't realise it was a farmer's corner, but it is now. It was meant to be more like
side by side. I thought that cup was going to just send Twilight a wee bit wide into Fluffy there, but it didn't.
Yeah, they're getting away with it quite nicely here. I mean, it's a little bit of rubbing like that's no problem. Oh, I think Fluffy just tried to I think he thought he was far enough ahead to pull in front of Twilight. He wasn't. Twilight makes the move, and in the background, Dave the Harper's made the move on Jimmy. SGP has come out of the pits in 11th place. Interestingly, Jason, I believe, pitted very early on after the crash we saw him have, and he's now leading the race.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Although
nice, Ben.
he's now just pitted, he ain't going to be leading for any longer. Arpal now coming under pressure from Conrad. I mean, it's interesting. The traffic has definitely hurt Steve F1 a little bit as SGP's going in the pits again.
Yeah, he had 75% of fuel. What's he playing at?
Well,
is there something we don't know that he knows?
Maybe he just really wants to park it in Twilight's end zone.
Look at this, 3 different battles going on. That is nice.
And you know what, looking at this as well, I mean, this is good for Conrad in the battle for third. Artpal and Twilight. Well, Artpal's trying to catch Dave the Harp, but the gap's a bit too big, I think. Artpal's kind of in the championship battle with Gary, so it's good for Artpal at the moment. Twilight, Fluffy, and Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp's not really in their fight, but Twilight and Fluffy are, I believe. No, they can't be on similar points because Fluffy's not been here for weeks. It's all very exciting and very close anyway.
You know how Gary's been eating apples for games, mind games? Giant Cartpal gets gaffer tapes and starts sticking them over a model of Gary. Knife.
Artpal and gaffer tape, you never know what could happen. It could end up robbing a bank.
Oh, Dave the Harp going for a move on Fluffy. Fluffy defending nicely.
I've just realised Dave the Harp's got a sponsor on the side of his car. Dirty Works. He's got sponsored by Fast Lube and Dirty Works. Oh, Twilight was twitchy and Conrad was as well, actually, in the... Oh, Fluffy taking a lot of grass. Yeah, so just to mention as well, yeah, Twilight is in a battle with Artpal and Gary for that 7th place, but Twilight's got to be careful of Hay down, including Fluffy. Oh, Dave with a little wide. Oh, that was close for Jimmy. So yeah, so this battle that's going on, although it is exciting, it is also very relevant for what's going to be going on in the championship standings. Also, just noticing on the timing tower that SRI is now in 2nd place, and I'm pretty sure we saw him pit earlier. So I think he's already done one pit stop. Oh, Fluffy trying to make the move on Artpal. Dave the Harp trying to fend off Jimmy and Gary. SRI's now into the pit, so he's not in 2nd place anymore. He was for a few laps. Dave the Harp's got to run, but Artpal's got the slipstream.
Look at that, just a car's worth space.
He's lost it. It's a good job he's got some fast lube, otherwise that could have been quite rashy.
It might have been sticky.
You know what? I think Dave might need some new tyres after that. Interestingly, I can imagine the conversation as Dave's on his way to the pits going, I need tyres, and Michelin going, here you go, we got some. And then Dave going, now if only someone could rate my restaurant. Oh, Fluffy!
3, 4 cars. SGP just overtook 4 cars. Jason into 6.
Yep, I didn't see any of that because I was telling a bloody joke. Although it's not actually a joke, it's more of an interesting statement. So, if you need tyres, Michelin. If you need someone to rate your restaurant, well, you're not going to believe this, Michelin.
Only if you get Michelin stars.
Aye. Oh, Jimmy! Jimmy taking an interesting line.
Yep. Gary's still got the run and the slipstream. How we're going to do into turn 1? Gary's right in front.
That
and he stops it this time.
Ooh. Jimmy got a little bit twitchy. I saw as well Jason was very close to SGP, as Gary's a little slow on the exit of Come Here. As they make their way through turn 3 though down the hill. I think he'll be safe now. Okay, so what's the situation up at the front? Let's see, Divinar leading the way. Steve F1 is in second place, Conrad in third. Not sure who's in fourth place at the moment, so I can't see him on the screen. But then we've got SGP, Jason, Gary and Jimmy. Gary and Jimmy, as we can see on the screen.
Mitch,
Gary?
maybe?
No, Mitch isn't in this race, right?
Oh no, near he is. Sorry, Mitch.
Someone said...
Won't be Dave Zaha.
Someone... It could be. No, David Harp's in ninth place. Who's sneakily up there? They're sitting in fourth place, aren't we?
I don't know, but we'll soon find out, hopefully.
That's really... It's really confused me, that has. You know,
first and second have got a bit of a gap. And then... third and
oh, it's
fourth,
Twilight! It's Twilight! It's Twilight!
It's Twilight.
Yeah.
After the end zone as well. Nice
yeah.
one.
He's doing quite well, isn't he?
I hope I've not just jinxed him.
You know what? We probably have. It depends on how much he likes grannies as to how long he's going to spend down in that corner. If I was Jason, I'd be a little bit looking in my mirrors, because Gary has really closed in on him over the course of this lap and heading up the hill. Dave Harp also recovering from one of those. I mean, to be honest, a little touch. I think that second big crash probably helped Dave the Harp a little bit, because obviously the first one caught him out big time. But yeah, so what we've got, 20 laps down, 13 laps to go, not including the one they're on now. So we could be in the realm of the second stop for the two stoppers. SGP is headed into the pits again. That's the third time I've seen him headed into the pit. He's now got 59% fuel. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's playing at either. Actually,
no, you know what? You know what it is? He's actually done something very clever. I know, shock. There's 12 laps to go, 13 laps to go. He's going to have a very short pit stop now and he can get to the end. Everybody else that was in front of him still has a pit stop to do, and he wasn't that far behind them. So I think SGP could gain quite a lot at this point by having a very short pit stop, as Dave the Harp having a look up the inside, and Gary Arpal sitting behind them waiting for the opportunity, and there it comes, and in comes SRI. He would say sorry, but he's Scottish.
He's too busy putting his lights on and trying to get through.
Arpal and Dave the Harp, a little bit of door rubbing. Oh! Demon R's in the pits, so yeah, we cut away from the action.
And Steve F1.
Yes, so both of them.
Oh, Steve's got the shorter pit stop.
He has. Okay. Conrad has carried on. I think
Twilight's got 2%.
He might get to the end now. This could be interesting. So, I know we're not watching what's happening on the tracks. It looks like we might be having a race in the pit lane, and none of those people are doing anything. Demon R's on his way out, and Steve F1's ahead of him. Oh,
He done that nicely.
Well,
they're going to roughly have the same amount of fuel.
Yeah, well, Steve F1 is definitely. And look, there's SGP. So I think those.
He's got up to third.
Yeah.
Overall third.
Yeah, net third. I think if Steve F1 and Demon R hadn't pitted then, I think SGP would have taken the lead. Very interesting. We'll have to try and get some information about that if we can, as we're looking at Gary's hunting SRI. I think Demon R is going to be a little bit pissed that Steve F1 has managed to come out of the pits in front of him. I mean, it wasn't a massive fuel difference as Conrad heading into the pits. No, he's not. Conrad continuing on for another lap. It kind of worked for him at the last race going long. I don't know if it will work here. Steve F1, he's got a little bit of a gap, and SGP's actually closed in on them. He closed right in on Demon R. Demon R goes a little bit wide. Oh, that could be costly. Not completely, but now he's going to have a bit of a dirty tyre.
Yeah, his tyres started going off the track a wee bit there. Is he going to get it? Oh, sliding about. He's just kept on the track there.
He doesn't need
That's give SGP the confidence to attack him.
Yeah, and the momentum. I mean, that's the last thing Demon R needs, is to start getting sideways and sliding, because he'll start dropping away from Steve F1, and he can't afford to, because SGP is right there. The only thing is SGP may need to do a tiny little bit of fuel saving, but then I think he's going to be fine to the end. As Twilight having a look at the back of Jimmy, now having a look at the side of Jimmy, checking out
Pokemons.
the
Through pretty quickly on that one.
Yeah.
I thought it would have dragged on, but he had a good run. Conrad's still going.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I did wonder whether he was going to do a 10 and a 10, so maybe he will pit next time around, because he did a long stint early on. Oh, Fluffy, can he save it? Yes, well done. That was boring, Fluffy. Next time, make sure you spin it. Gary into the pits.
We want to see what you've done in your moped.
yeah. He's not released the footage of that, has he? Here's me doing a wheelie and doing a jump. Yeah, he's not sent us the footage of him having a crash.
All the time it didn't start with no petrol.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine that being at some... Come on, Fluffy, get your videos out. What we got now then? SRI sitting in third place, may have another pit stop to do. I think Jason might as well. So yeah, what a twist we've had in the race here. I mean, I never saw SGP getting himself into this position. Demon R has now opened up a little bit of a gap from SGP, and it needs to get a shift on Conrad into the pits. This could be crucial. I think he may have lost a little bit too much time though going long.
Was it going to bring them out? That's a question.
Yes,
as we see Fluffy going past, Bill heading down the pit straight round about now.
Yeah, catching up to SGP as well. Maybe
Fluffy seems to be going fast.
Yeah, clearly going on the grass works for him. And there's Conrad coming out of the pits. Yeah.
So that's cost him his place to SGP, because SGP wasn't there.
Absolutely right. However, it's not cost him a massive amount of time. So yes, it's the position, but I think Conrad may have the pace to close that in. Looks like Demon R's got his rhythm back a little bit, trying to catch up to Steve F1. Jason now leading the race. Jimmy got Art Power behind him here. Jimmy does like to try saving fuel.
Sarai has pitted as well, because he was in sit behind Jason.
Yeah, and he's now in 10th, but that'll be to the end, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Art Power.
Art Power Jimmy having a good race here, and in the background we had Dave the Harp and SRI battling.
Your eyesight's better than me. I didn't see that.
I just clocked it out at Granny Hills.
Granny Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, Twilight, don't go breaking my heart. Don't know where that comes from.
I think he was breaking the pit wall. Never mind his heart.
I think you could be right. I've got a question for you. If I've got a green ball in one hand and a green ball in the other hand, what do I have?
That's that Kermit thing, isn't it?
Kermit the Frog begging for mercy. Oh, Fluffy's had an off. Big dust cloud ahead of Conrad there, and that's going to put Fluffy under pressure, is it? No, he's got away with it, you lucky boy. So yeah, Conrad trying to close that gap in. Twilight also closing in on Connor. Art Power closing in on. I think all of these guys may be able to get to the end. If they can, it's race on for basically third place. Oh, sneaky move by Art Power there on the inside of Twilight into the bottle opener. Jason into the pits.
I think it'll be third place, would it not be fifth?
I don't know, because they're not far behind SGP. Oh, we got cars heading into the pits. Fluffy into the pits, so he couldn't get to. I mean, what I'm thinking is, there's Conrad. Conrad's in 4th, he's got Art Pal Twilight behind him, so that's kind of a battle for 4th, but SGP is only just a little way up the road. I mean, this is one of the things of having a race that's much closer compared to the last couple of tracks. Yeah, you make one little error now, it could be very costly. With Twilight having a look at a switchback, double overtake, and check out the action in Granny's.
Yeah. Granny's pits getting all the action.
I think she might need some roll-on deodorant. Or some, talcum powder. You got that glove down there? No, it's just some talc glove.
Well, SRI and Dave the Harper still battling it behind Jimmy, so he's gonna... That's going to be interesting near the end as well, is this battle. Or this battle could bring them closer. Look how close they're getting now.
Yeah, SRI
Look at that, 5 cars.
Oh, Twilight, not again. Oh, it's so close. Jimmy into the pits. SRI made a lovely overtake on Jimmy there. And then Jimmy headed into the pits. David Harp's closing in. Twilight having a look up the inside of Harp. Side by side they go. And this is just going to go on. SRI having a sneaky look.
Yeah, perhaps a wee push there.
Yeah, well, maybe. Well, from the camera angle I had, it was a dirty move. No, not necessarily. I'm only joking. Twilight's got a decent run back on him. It may have annoyed Twilight a little bit, that, and see what he can do. You know what? Twilight loves grannies. He's really getting it going down here. Oh, no, he doesn't! No, he doesn't! Oh, no! You spin me right round, Granny, right round. I'm sorry,
Granny got him to dress up and put hot pants on.
Oh dear, I'm definitely going to need a drink after this, holy cow. Okay, so what have we got?
So with that, I put Dave the Harp in front of SRI. Jason, I can't remember where Jason was before this. But I'm bored.
Yeah, you know why this is? Because SGP is the cameraman, he's gone full of shit. So down into turn 1, come here. It's a very tight turn 2, got to be patient, get off the steering before you plant the throttle. Up to 3rd, and then a little lift, and then absolutely plant that throttle. Now we go through, a little left, use a bit of curve, flat out, through the right-hander, get in the slipstream of the car ahead, look in your mirrors and shit yourself because of the cars behind, choose who you're going to give the slipstream to, brake about 60 metres hard, you want 3rd gear, or Jason's going to go 2nd gear because he's crazy, and then up the hill. SRI just had a lovely move on Dave the Harp, I think, into Granny's, and now we're into the corner before the bottle opener, and this is a very interesting set of corners in this direction. It's kind of like a constant slowing down zone, but you don't want to go too quick here because you want to get it tucked in tight so you don't go wide left, and now you can absolutely floor it. And then you don't even need to brake here, lift off, 4th gear, turn it in, clip the curb and absolutely nail it on the grass and spin into the barrier like Twilight did. And there you go for a lap of Lake Maggiore West.
You know it's Jason and not Twilight?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I crashed, sorry.
Yeah, see, I know what I do. I'm a pro when it comes to an onboard. Why is it straight away my mind just went onboard grannies. I do apologise everybody. Okay, SRI and Dave Hart still battling. Twilight's there as well, and Gary. You mentioned earlier on, Ray, that this was kind of getting close. It really is again now. Is SRI? Oh, Dave Hart taking evasive on Jason. Oh, but Twilight, I think he just tagged the back of Gary. Maybe took evasive. Looked like he was off track a little bit. But I suppose if it's evasive, it's slightly different. Oh, Fluffy on the inside. Oh, Fluffy slips into SRI, into the barrier. They've all survived somehow. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Got to be careful. This could be really bad. It's one of those where it's like, I think everyone's just trying to give each other a bit of room, but it's very easy to just end up like... playing the cymbals where you just like ting, ting, ting. Okay, down into turn 1. Fluffy trying to make a move on Dave the Harper. He goes hard on the brakes. Oh, a little bit of contact. It's pushed Dave out wide and Fluffy's got sideways. Dave gets back on. I think Fluffy may have just... Oh, I thought he'd gone completely then. Dave the Harper's going as he loses the rear end and on the curb and pushes SRI into the grass. I said this could get very messy. It's the messiest it's been all day. Oh, Gary Gay's sideways as well.
Let's clean it up before Granny gets annoyed.
Yeah, she'll get her slippers out and spank you. I just want to mention as well that on the pad cam for the last few laps, she should have been. Oh, Gary, no! Attack the back at Jimmy and around he goes. I was going to say, yeah, you should be able to see the leaders on the pad cam at the moment. The gap between Steve F1 and Demon R, I believe, is coming down a little bit. Jimmy trying to make a move on Twilight as Gary is trying to recover. Jason under pressure now. Conrad, no! That's Twilight's corner! Oh, you lucky boy!
He's lucky!
You lucky boy. I'm getting some information as well that, interestingly, regarding Steve F1 and Demon R's pit stops, yes, Steve F1 had less fuel to need to put in the car, but he also short-filled it, apparently, to give him a quicker pit stop still. So that's how he was able to jump Demon R in the pit stops. He went with less fuel put in the car overall. So I think Demon R's basically filled it to a full tank and Steve F1's got about 90-95%. It will have cost him a little bit, meaning he'll have had to fuel save a little bit, but not that much. The question is, in a lap and 2 corners or 4 corners, can Demon R do anything about it now? I think the answer may be no, as we've got the pack still going. Oh, Dave the Arp! He's, well...
Oh, it's on the gravel.
That's just cost him 100 quid.
Granny's dandruff, he went into there. It's an eye on the back of Jason here.
He was in the peripheries of the bush.
He's got Twilight pressure behind Jimmy, not Steve F1.
Hey, we're on to the last lap. Steve F1 is leading the way. Demon R has really closed that gap in now for the pack. I think you may have to look at the pack cam. This is interesting. I mean, it's been interesting all along, but yeah, if it's within what 0.8 of a second, Demon R may be able to get a slipstream. Is he going to be able to do anything on the last lap, or is Steve F1 going to put one of 2 hands and probably something else on the championship trophy? Because if he can hold on to this position, he will have a gap of 11 points, and you know what? He's looking safe. They're not. God, Mayor.
It's not mayhem, they're all just squabbling over each other.
Yeah.
As we've got Jim, Fluffy, and SRI 3 wide.
Ooh, Fluffy going. Jason nearly got tagged. Fluffy was very deep on the brakes there, but it worked for him. Steve F1 gone through the bottle opener. He's heading towards Twilight now. Unless he bins it, I think he's safe. Into the final corner, and he is safe. Demon R's pushed it hard, but it's going to be a win for Steve F. He's done extremely well there. Second place for Demon R. SGP. Oh, look at Conrad. He loves it out there.
He's back out there. That could have been... He's lucky it didn't spin. We've got Art Pal, Jason, Art Pal.
Art Pal 5th, that's a good result for him.
Look,
Jason,
that's alright.
He's trying to.
Oh! That's full finishes it. Blue 11th, Harry, Twilight. Oh, he ran out of fuel.
I don't know, maybe he's just exhausted. I wouldn't be surprised. It can be. I mean, it's an intense track, this one. There is not much room for a rest, that is for certain. And for anyone that isn't like maybe able to hear me and Ray at the moment verbally, probably sounds like we're just doing a porno or something. But yeah, that one's on Animal Planet. But yeah, I've got to say though, for Steve F1, I didn't see him winning that really within the first 15-20 laps. I didn't think the win was on the cards. He got that last pit stop absolutely spot on to short fill, to give him that extra bit of time, worked wonders, and it was enough to put Demon R off perhaps, and yeah, for Demon R to have SGP put in a bit of pressure on for a few laps. It was enough for Steve F1 to get away. I mean, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed that Steve F1 has won the championship, but an 11-point turn into the final race. I mean,
Demon A's going to have to win it, and Steve F1's got to.
I think it's 8-4.
Not sure.
Yeah, pretty much 8-4 lower, I think it is, or maybe it's 9th and lower. So yeah, I mean, Demon A need to basically
pay some people.
Yeah, quite definitely. Yeah, pay Steve F1's neighbours to turn the power off again. But what I will say is, I mean, Steve F1 didn't necessarily start this championship strong. He's finishing it very strong though. I think, I mean, he's won. I think it's 3 of the last 4 races, or something like that. With, I mean, Conrad winning last week, which was brilliant, and Steve F1. I mean, will say though again, right? I mean, Conrad's had another brilliant race there. Okay, SGP's done weird strategies, but that's worked for him. But Conrad's had another good result.
Yep. What was it? Fourth.
Fourth,
yeah. SGP was fourth. Yeah. He's turned it round this season.
He definitely has. I mean, I do wonder if he's actively working on a few different things. He may be. I mean, if he is, it's working. Keep it going. I mean, we saw it work for the likes of Mitch. Not being deaf, we're seeing it work for Steve F1 as well. I mean, how often do we see mistakes from Steve F1 now? Obviously, I'm trying to commentators curse him for next week, but it is rare.
Yeah, like it's rare for I'd say top 5, except Conrad had one bad season, but it's kind of rare.
Yeah, it definitely is. Artpal had a great result here. To be fair, Artpal was involved in a lot of battles there with SRI, Dave the Art, Fluffy, and to be fair, held his own quite nicely. To finish 5th, I think that matches his best finish, which was in the Porsche at Red Bull Ring Short. So I think he'll be absolutely buzzing about that result. It'll also mean he'll have closed the gap a bit on Dave the Harp. I don't know exactly how much yet. We'll find out in a little while. Unfortunately for Twilight, though, I think finishing last in that race, that's going to have hurt his position in the standings a little bit. Art Power will have pulled away from Gary. Gary looked like he had an interesting race. A couple of moments, but right in the thick of the action. Jimmy was also in the thick of the action as Ray is on mute. Yeah.
No, I wasn't on there. I was seeing where Dave the Hart finished. He finished down in 9th, so yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's an interesting. I think the gap was about 14-15 points, so may have just about halved.
53 to 67.
Let's see, Fluffy did well. On his return, couple of brilliant crashes. Would expect nothing less of him, but yeah, good race for Fluffy. I mean, to be honest, it was nice just to get him back on the track and get him active in the chat parties. Who else was there? Jason had a very eventful race, and then there's your rival Ray, Rich.
Yeah, Rich. Yeah,
who?
I've not really been like. I've had times I've not been able to race, so yeah, Rich I've seen a different side to Rich this season. He's getting stuck in when he can. That's what I like to see. I
mean,
fortunately we didn't have Hay and Bunso in there to stir up the pack. They're good stirrers.
That they are. I mean, let's put it this way. I think a few seasons ago, us guys in those cars around a track like that could have been a lot of chaos. But I mean, yes, there was accidents and yes, stuff happened. But to be fair, most of what I've been seeing has been really good, and I just hope it continues because it's one of those things where we all love a good crash, but at the same time, it's a buzz going wheel to wheel with people. Okay, it can be a little bit less of a buzz if you're the one getting passed, But it's that thing of, if you're giving each other the room, the battle can continue. So even if you do get past, you can fight back. Whether they'll be able to do that in the next track, that's going to be an interesting one to find out, because it's Sanquar B2, I think. I did check. I'm going to confirm it.
A?
Is it A?
Yeah. I can't remember because we've done quite a few tracks. I think it's Sanquar A2.
You're right, it is Sanquar. No, it's not. It's Sardegna A2.
I got the A2, alright.
You got the A2, yeah. Just in
You
the
get
wrong.
the whole thing wrong.
Just in the wrong country. We're in France. The track is in Italy. We'll say as well. As much as we like to have fun and stuff like that, thoughts go to those people that suffered recently in Lake Maggiore. This isn't a joke. In Lake Maggiore, where there was a cable car failure and people sadly lost their lives. Obviously we send our condolences out for that one. Okay, Ray, is there anything else that you want to mention from the race?
It was fantastic. All the battles, the way it was going for at least a few laps before it settled down and then it would start back up. Fantastic race. I enjoyed watching it.
Definitely. Okay, right. I've got one more story to tell. I've actually got more, but I've got a question for you. Right. Give an example of a business failure due to careless management.
Business failure due to careless management? Well, if your business goes into liquidation or has to shut, it's careless management.
That is true. Or you could just say a prostitute getting pregnant. The cogs will work.
Only for 9 months.
Only for 9 months. This is actually a true story, right? I got a random text message today. And the thing is, I've been going around a lot of places for getting exhaust quotes on repairing my exhaust or replacing my exhaust. And I got a text today off a random number texting me and thinking that I was his manager, and he was saying that he was going to be a few minutes late today. So I text back and said, don't worry, just have the day off. I didn't. It's a joke. But you believe me?
Yeah, because I think it was a joke, but
you can imagine if someone actually did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean I'm fine? Well, you didn't come to work yesterday. Well, I told you I was going to be late, and then you just told me to have the day off, and I fucking didn't. Imagine fucking arguing that one. Right. Okay. I think it's time to have a look at the confirmed race result and the championship standings before we head to the final race of the Tomahawk Championship. And don't forget, guys, your decisions of which car you're going to use in the DGTCC will be needed fairly soon, so make sure you get on with your liveries as well, because there is going to be a couple of weeks break after the end of this championship, and in that period is where the cars will be confirmed and all that kind of stuff. Looks like it could be a very interesting championship with a mix of different cars, but we've still got one championship to finish, and that's the Tomahawk. So let's check out those stats. Taking the victory then, race 8 is Steve F1 on the maximum 20 points. In second place was Demon R on 17. Third was SGP on 15 points. Conrad finished in 4th on 13. Art Powell takes 5th place, repeated his best result of the season, or of his DGT career, I should say. 5th place for him, 12 points. Jason finished in 6th place on 11 points. SRI finished in 7th, bags 10 points. Fluffy Planet, nice to have him back, finished in 8th place, bags 9 points. David Harp finished in 9th place, gets 8 points. Jimmy was a little unfortunate at the end there, being pipped to the post by David Hart. 10th place for Jimmy, 7 points. And then we had Rich Blues in 11th place, and formerly Gary in 12th. And Twilight, who definitely had a few adventures during that race, finishing in 13th. Right, let's take a look at what that has done to the championship standings. Steve F1 now has a 12-point gap over Demon R, so it's 141 versus 129. Conrad now into the hundreds, he's on 107. He's got a 7-point gap ahead of SGP, so yeah, that fight for third is definitely still on. Mitch has dropped down to 5th, unfortunately unable to race the last 2 rounds, but he should be able to hold on to that 5th place. And Dave Hart still in 6th place on 75 points. He's now 10 ahead of Artpal. Artpal has opened up a little bit of a gap to Gary, who's 9 points behind him in 8th place. Right behind Gary though, 5 points back in 9th is Twilight, and then 1 behind Twilight is Jason, 1 behind Jason is Fluffy, and 5 behind Fluffy is Jimmy. 3 back from him is Hay, and then we've got Rich Blues and SRI tied on 31 points, 14th place for those two. Then we've got Tyler on 13 and Butzel on 12. So the rivalry continues between Rich Blues and SRI. The rivalry still continues as well for the championship title. There is a 12-point gap, but there's 1 race to go and anything can happen. Sardegna A2, it's a tricky road course with some very fast sections, but also some right nasty little evil corners. It should be action-packed, let's put it that way. Right, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, bang that notifications bell. Also feel free to check out the Dynamic GT League merch that is available on Streamlabs. The link is in the description. And also, as a DGT fan, if you want a custom shirt making for yourself, for example the DGT logo with your own name on it, then all you have to do is ask. You never know, we might be able to do that for you. Right, have a good one everybody, and we'll see you next time for the finale. Have a good one, and see you all again soon.